Posting beats, selling leases, and chasing placements used to work for producers, but today, that's the reason why most of them are staying broke. Even when their beats are good. Right now, go scroll on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. You'll see dozens and hundreds of producers posting beats hoping for sales, placements. Maybe you've tried posting type beats on YouTube or turn your Instagram into a catalog. But the industry has changed, and one non-negotiable element got left behind. Before we talk about that, we need to talk about why these strategies don't really work the way producers think they do. Historically, music production was a premium service offered by those who had access to studio gear, meaning it was only accessible by artists that were well connected and funded. Just the idea of being able to sell beats online was completely revolutionary because this skipped studio session logistics, production fees, and what used to be necessary connections in order to get a fully produced song. Just having that instant download button on your website instantly created demand because these producers were competing with a less accessible and less efficient service. At this time, there weren't really many people who understood how powerful it was to sell beats online. A producer could sell 100 beats to 100 artists 100 different times, and they didn't need to know 100 people, be in 100 studios, or book 100 sessions. They also didn't need to spend their time making 100 new beats. This is important because it's one of the main reasons why beat prices keep dropping on beat marketplaces. So this revolutionary change of selling beats online positioned music production as a service accessible to everyone. And even paying up to $500 for a beat lease online was considered a steal compared to what it used to take to get a song produced. This next part I don't want to spend too much time on because I hear all about it from different angles, but in the past, there were less producers selling beats. I'm not saying it's oversaturated, there's nothing we can do, because I've heard from producers that are just not putting in effort, oh, it's oversaturated, they use it as an excuse. I've also heard producers who are making tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars on social media and beat selling platforms saying that there's just as much opportunity now today to just sell beats, and I'm not gonna pick a side on those, but as an economics student, it's my job to understand and observe the mechanics of the market and teach you how to make your best strategic move. And it's just simply a fact that there were less producers back then selling beats. I mean, just imagine scrolling on YouTube and seeing thousands of beats uploaded just today with the same titles, the same artists in the thumbnails, and the same prices. On top of this, not only is there a huge surplus of beats on the online marketplace, but there's also an increasing amount of producer content. This, of course, leads to more people learning how to make and sell beats, and this just accelerates the competition further. My point is, there's essentially no barriers to entry in music production. With just a computer and a Wi-Fi connection, anyone can learn how to produce, upload, and monetize their music. And this doesn't just create a quantity battle. As producers learn and get better, the quality floor for acceptable beats in the marketplace continues to rise, yet prices stay stagnant. Putting it simply, good beats just aren't rare anymore. It's not enough to be successful as a music producer. Talent is abundant, and being skilled at your craft is no longer enough to separate you from the masses. And another thing producers don't even think about is the other side of the equation. The number of super talented producers who are trying to monetize their craft continues to grow at huge rates, but the group of serious artists who are willing and able to buy beats is not growing at the same rate. Most artists just don't have budgets and aren't buying consistently. The group of serious long-term investors is relatively small compared to the group of talented producers trying to sell to them. So now you have more producers competing for the same limited amount of paying artists, all selling similar items at similar prices. And once you truly understand how competitive this market is, you need to do what every smart business person does and look at it from the buyer's perspective. It is crucial to understand how your marketing and outreach looks compared to other producers doing the same thing. If an artist sees your page and your messages and hears your beats, are they going to want to spend money on you compared to other producers? Or does it just make you look like another option in a long list for them? Are they going to genuinely believe in your sound, or are you interchangeable with the next producer selling beats for $20 less? And beyond music, are they going to trust the way that you communicate, conduct business, and handle yourself as a person? These are the things that you need to think about when you're trying to build long-term relationships with strong clients. You may just be optimizing yourself for the wrong types of clients because there are good sales and there are bad sales. Some artists are going to buy one beat from you and you're never going to hear from them again, and others will turn into lifelong collaborators that you're going to work with over and over. And that's where the most important question comes in. Why should an artist buy your beat as opposed to another one that's similar or cheaper? If you can't answer that question thoroughly, neither can the artist, but the market will. and you'll simply become an expendable option in this large pool of producers selling to this small pool of artists. And this brings us back to our one non-negotiable element when it comes to building and maintaining a long-term music production career. It's replaceability. Beats are easy to find, easy to buy, and easy to replace. Yet almost every producer I see spends almost all their time working on beats. This is a problem with optimization. You're spending all of your time on the piece that's most easy to swap out. In the long run, the producers that succeed are the ones that position themselves to be irreplaceable. Because once an artist trusts you, believes in your taste, feels understood creatively, and knows you'll show up consistently, you're not just another answer in a search result. At this point, you're not competing against those cheaper beats anymore. You're competing with the idea of them starting over with someone new. And that shift from being interchangeable to being genuinely difficult to replace from a human standpoint is what actually sets producers up for success in the future of our industry. And the uncomfortable truth is that not many producers can do this with just their beats alone. In theory, the best way to become irreplaceable is to have a revolutionary genre-defining sound. Yeah, there are producers that have done that. I think of people like Mike Dean, Pierre Bourne, or The Alchemist. But those guys aren't exceptions to the rule. They're actually proof that it works, and they all have one very important thing in common. Today, Mike Dean is known for his huge synths, his extreme creativity, but he wasn't always known as this legendary, mystical producer with unlimited leverage. He started as Selena's touring keyboard player in the 80s. He was physically present, dependable, and embedded himself in the process before he ever was irreplaceable. Same thing with The Alchemist. He got connected with Mobb Deep, and then he became Eminem's tour DJ in 2005. This wasn't about selling beats or getting placements. This was about trust, proximity, and showing up consistently. Pierre Bourne, he didn't start out as this magical producer with these crazy synths and drum patterns. He was actually socially adjacent with Lil Yachty's brother, who connected him with Yachty and eventually Playboi Carti, where they built that strong relationship to go off and revolutionize trap music. All three of these producers eventually went off to define their genres with revolutionary sounds. But the sound wasn't the entry point. It was how they positioned themselves to impact the artist's process. None of them were chosen because they were cheaper. None of them were chosen because they had more beats. They were chosen because replacing them would have meant breaking momentum, restarting chemistry, and introducing friction into the artist's process. And of course, the industry looks different today, but the mechanisms really haven't changed very much. Proximity, trust, and momentum still create leverage much faster than raw talent alone. This is the shift that I made in my own production career, and honestly, it changed everything for me. And that brings us to the ultimate question. How can I make myself irreplaceable? Well, that's not something I can answer in one video, and honestly, that's what this channel is going to be about. I'm going to be breaking down how producers actually build leverage in today's market, what works, what doesn't, and how to stop competing in ways that are stacked against you. So if this way of thinking makes sense to you, subscribe and stick around. I'm going to be talking about this every week right here.